Is the governor, aspiring governor, going to do about the public education in Nairobi? Because the state of public schools in Nairobi is actually going down, as even you can see from the result that just came out. The public schools that used to perform in Nairobi County are nowhere to be found in top 100 schools in Nairobi.
Thank you, Joseph. There are about 220 public schools in Nairobi, and we have about 108 private schools, primary schools. And yes, the status of public schools is very bad. Our pupil-commuter distances are very high, and that is one reason why you see a lot of traffic congestion, people crisscrossing the city, children sleeping in the buses because they are coming from one corner to the other. And my proposal is, number one, we must improve the schools that we have. We must upgrade them. We must increase the number of classes, and we must improve the quality of education, because there's one thing that Nairobians understand. They understand that they must have quality education, and that is why you see people commuting from one corner. Somebody is coming from Roy and going to Hospital Hill. That is not it. That is not good. Therefore, we must upgrade our schools. We must make them up to standard, to the expectations of the community. And I'm saying that the community must also participate in suggesting what they want, the local community. Now, the other thing is that we must provide, and we must directly invest. I know the constitutional lawyer will say that is not the mandate of the county, but we can negotiate. We must negotiate with TSC so that we're able to give these teachers who are in Nairobi better allowances, because the teacher in Nairobi cannot be paid the same with the teacher in upcountry. No, it's not possible, and they're not going to give good services unless we give them incentives to perform and take our children where we want our children to be. So that is about public schools.
The next one is the grabbing of public lands. Schools in Kamukunji children have no space to play because of the coming up of Isili market is really growing too fast at the expense of the residents, or the children have no space to play. They play in classes, which is dangerous for them again.
Yesterday I was talking to a hawker in Isli, and he told me, the head of hawkers in Isli, and he confessed and said the land that was supposed to be for markets there in Isli was grabbed. And now we want only to have those hawkers as mobile hawkers because they have no market. I say that as the first governor of Nairobi, I will demand that those who have grabbed land must be restored back to the county. We are not negotiating on this one. Grabbed land must be restored so that we can provide the social services that that land was designated for. Remember, in our original plans, as old as they may be, that provision for playgrounds, that provision for social halls, that provision for markets was there, and therefore we must be able to provide that.
And the next question is again about the corruption in public institution in Nairobi County. You go to Sheria House, you must pay something to get the certificates. You go to schools for your child to be admitted, you have to pay the headmaster. So what are you going to do as the aspiring governor of the Nairobi County?
We allow corruption to happen because we condone it. And we must lead from the top. And it is not going to be just a talk show. So there are steps that we must take. Number one, as the first governor of Nairobi, I am going to ask that all our rates, all our licenses, all our revenue is contracted, the collection is contracted to the Kenya Revenue Authority, so that you have zero entrance or zero access to asking people for little favors. Number two, and this is very important, we must also privatize those services that need to be privatized so that the mwananchi receives those services as quickly as possible. One of the sources of corruption is bureaucracy. So we must destroy this bureaucracy, whereby you must go to an officer and bribe them so that they give you a service. Therefore, we must break down this bureaucracy. We must use technology, modern technology. We must have electronic payments. We must have electronic access to licenses. And let me also say this. Because the Constitution allows and has stated that we must devolve those services down to the wards. When we devolve those services down to the wards, you are reducing corruption. Lastly and not least, the county government, the first county governor of Nairobi, must have and must state that Nairobi County will have zero tolerance for corruption. And that is not just by talking, but by practice. That is possible through proper procurement practices and proper service provision in a devolved manner. That is what I see is possible, and we can do it.
It hurts every one of us. It is a cross-cutting disease as far as Kenya is concerned. And I want to tell you this. I am so concerned about corruption that in 2004, I did a thesis titled The Interface Between Corruption and Foreign Direct Investment, Legal and Institutional Issues. If you go to the University of Nairobi Law School, you will find that thesis there. I traced the issue of corruption from as far back as 1971, when the public servants were allowed by law to do business in the Republic of Kenya. I came all through. And one thing that is very clear, corruption in this country is not unique to this country. But what is unique in this country is impunity. We don't punish the perpetrators of corruption, whether it's the president, the prime minister, a person called Karanja Kabage, or any public official or any servant of the Republic of Kenya. We don't punish them. What we do, we talk about it, we remove them from this place to that place. However, we are exceptionally lucky today because in 2010, on the 4th of August, this great nation passed a constitution. And on 27th of August, the President of the Republic promulgated the new constitutional dispensation. And I want to refer to chapter 10 on judiciary, where we are having major reforms. And we are very fortunate we have a Chief Justice today who is doing everything possible as far as the country is concerned. So I'm confident that with the new judiciary and the new thinking of the people of Kenya, we shall do everything possible to ensure that corruption is not tolerated. And I'll tell you how you deal with the corruption is not tolerated. It does not begin with those small officers. It begins with us who want to run for the office of the governor or the office of the president or the office of the senator of the Republic of Kenya. And how do they do it? First and foremost, we must declare in public what do you own and who do you owe.
Corruption can be fought. We know very well that corruption is a disease. It's a virus that just spreads. And every other Kenyan who's born, we know very well that these top government officials, the top leaders, they enrich themselves with the public resources. That is in itself is corruption. An average Kenyan who's born from the ground is so poor that he or she cannot even afford a rope to hang himself.
Yeah, but Babu, you like the good things in life too, right?
Sorry?
Don't you like the good things in life?
Everybody likes good things, of course.
My last question is to the constitutional lawyer, KK. So what are you doing as the aspiring, assuming that you're going to vie, what are you going to do to make sure that as we reach to election, Kenyans know what actually they're going to vote? Because people are in suspense out there. They don't know if they're going to vote the governor, if they don't know if the Nairobi is going to have a mayor, they know nothing about the election.
Now let me tell you, this is the most profound question that can be asked. And this is the most important concern by every one of us in this place. Why is that? Because when we passed the Constitution, to my surprise, a lot of people said, I support the Constitution because Kibake and Raila said it is good. I refuse to support the Constitution because the church bishops and Ruto and Moi, they say it is not good. That is as far as the knowledge of the Constitution we passed is concerned for the majority of people. And this is very sad for this country. Because believe you me, and I want to say this without any fear of contradiction, this Constitution that we have passed is the best we have, and it's not my word. There are people who have declared the Constitution that we have passed in the Republic of Kenya is the best. But it is good as long as you, Joseph, you, John, you, Peter, you, Margaret, you, Otieno, you, Joroge, you or a tip-tip understand that constitution. Now, how is it going to be prosecuted? Under the constitution, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is the one that has a constitutional mandate to prosecute the civic education as far as the public is concerned. Number two, the county government bill, which was passed by Parliament, but the President returned it, is also another legal channel that has mandated the county government to conduct civic education. However, it is going to be very difficult for the implementation, for us to prosecute civic education as a county government because we are not in existence right now. We will do it post-election of 2012 or 2013, whatever the case may be. But I want to encourage every citizen of Nairobi County and the country in general to demand to know what is the role of the county assembly member. Is he a councillor? I'll tell you no. He's not a councillor. He is going to be a registrator. He's going to hold the governor to account. He's going to be approving the cabinet of the governor. He is going to be the one who will be looking at the programs that are going to be prosecuted by the governor. To that extent, therefore, I want to appeal to the citizen of Nairobi to ensure that the people, men and women, we shall elect at the county level have the requisite knowledge of understanding what is their mandate. Because if they don't understand, it will be the same thing like what they call garbage in, garbage out. You have a responsibility as a citizen of this country. Thank you very much.
Okay. KK, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
On that note, we're going to take a break, come back. I know you guys have a lot of questions. Ladies, finally, there's some questions from the ladies. I want to hear that after the break. And also, Timothy, you talked about population in this city and infrastructure. We want to talk about that after the break. We'll be back in a moment. Face the Nation is coming back to you right after this. Don't go away. The show is literally just warming up. Back in a moment.